Alrighty, let's see what state we left our puzzle game Mizi NO in. Okay, puzzles are working. That effect is not centered, but it's fine. Why are you scaling? Okay, hints are... oh god. Yeah, no. That, yeah, I think we should do something about the UI. Good morning. So what we're doing today is making the graphics, like dummy graphics, and like conceptualizing the level selection and the, what would you even call it? Because we're gonna sell a bunch of DLCs for this game. You can choose between like what levels you want to play. Yeah, basically level selection. Yeah, I'm gonna do that today. And as usual, I start out by doing some mockups in Photoshop. And what you're seeing here is actually the second attempt, because the first one looked like this. And let's just forget about that one. For now, I want the level selection menu to be very simple and just give you a glance of all of the items that you'll be able to puzzle. And because at this point I don't have a lot of items, I'm using the ones from the base game for this mockup. All of these graphics will have multiple states: locked, unlocked, and mouse over. For now, I'll just have the round icon in the middle change the scale when you hover over it with your mouse. And the graphics of the items in the back will change from monochrome to colored once they're unlocked. And as for the levels themselves, I wanted to have each item sit in a shelf, and when you click on the item, you get the animation of the cat throwing it off, and then you get your puzzle, and I just find that a very fun, like, continuation of the story. I don't know. And what do you know? A day later, we already have the menus in game. So what does the rest of the menu look like? Yeah, this sucks. So yeah, let's work on that next. And I know this video has a lot of sped up Photoshop footage, but that's mainly what this project is at this point, unfortunately. So for the start screen, I had this really fun idea of a little cat paw poking the item that the player has last played. I just find it very funny. Like, you just completed this puzzle, you close the game, you open it back up, and the cat is already like at it again. But yeah, the cat paw wasn't really filling the screen very well, so I decided to just add a whole cat. And I actually cut out the cat's face from our main illustration that we use on Steam. Mainly because I just love the way it looks, but I also really like that the Steam graphics and the in-game graphics now have a really good connection and like they're very consistent. To round off the start screen, I just add this little tag that lets you know that this is the demo version. And with that, the start screen is pretty much done. And since we're already at it, let's just do the whole menu. Now that I have a font and some rough like design language, like elements that I can use, like the speech bubbles or like the button backgrounds, I can easily tackle the options menu, because at this point it's just taking what I already have and adapting it to fit whatever I need to lay out, basically. Lastly, I also bring in the level menu that I designed previously. Alrighty, are you ready for a preview? Ta-da! Wait, actually I have an idea. Okay, so let me throw all of this into Gamemaker. Don't forget the items. Okay, looks good. Whoops. Shit. What? Nice, it finally works. Wait, why are you in slow motion? Game development is hard. Okay, I'm gonna cut this down in editing, but next I made some graphics to replace these two ugly buttons. And I just pretty up the options menu by adding some social media icons. Last thing I do is add some code And yes, I totally copy-pasted that from one of our old projects. And now the demo version speech bubble scales up and down. And okay, so now, are you ready for the best part? This is pretty cool. So it is the week after Christmas and we've slowly started working on Mizi NO again. And we want to release the demo on the 6th of January, which gives us this week and next week. And I would say the game is in a really, really good state. So what we're working on now is details that we need for the demo and also for the final game. So my plan for today is to get the start screen and options screen looking good. And I've written down what I want to do. I want to do some animation. I want to do some like parallaxing, so the Mizi's face follows your mouse cursor. I kind of want to polish that up a little. And I also want to do that for the cat on the options screen, so that there's always like a cat face following your mouse cursor. I just think that's funny. So I think currently we're at 8 or 9 levels. Goal for the demo is 5, which we already have. Yeah, let's work on the start screen. If you've seen the Feed on Monsters devlog where I animate boss monsters, I'm basically using the knowledge of how to animate tentacles that I gained in that vlog for this cat tail to just make it move, basically. This is how it looks in Gamemaker. Why did I export that with a black background? At least the parallax is working. Okay, I know we just talked about animations, but let's do more animations. Just this start screen is probably one of the best things I've ever made. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this in other videos already, but like right now we're working on 4 different projects at once. Today I was planning on just working on Mizi NO, but then I was working on the menu and then we noticed that because I always have to prepare the items for Joseph, that he ran out of items to make into puzzles. So even though we're mainly focused on finishing the demo in this devlog, we are constantly making puzzles on the side so we can get all the content for the final game finished. So now I needed to switch, make more items so he can keep up with the puzzles. Yeah, it's just, I wish we could find a way to like optimize our workflows where I don't have to do all of the initial work, because I always have to balance between making the assets so that Joseph can continue working on them and then also making final assets so Yozia can implement them, and then also do work on the game and work on stuff that I need to implement. So I'm kind of the bottleneck. Joseph and me have been talking about this a lot. We need to change our approach of how we work on the games. So yeah, I've prepared a bunch of assets now. Maybe in the afternoon I can finish the cutscene, the cat start screen animation that I set out to do this morning. I added a few final tweaks to the start screen and now it was finally finished and good enough for the demo. We're launching the demo in about a week. So last night we were talking to Yozia, who is currently in Colombia. I'm only a little jealous. Just kidding, I'm very jealous. Anyway, so we were talking yesterday and he needs all of the final graphics so he can start optimizing, because right now whenever a cutscene loads, it's still a little laggy when it first loads in, just because we're using huge graphics, which is easily fixable, but graphics need to be complete in order for him to fix the lag. So what I'm working on today is a second Mizi throwing things off a table cutscene. I've done so many videos on how I create game assets, so you know how this goes by now. I make a more detailed sketch. I mask the different body parts and colors so I can separate them easily later down the line. I add the correct color and texture to each individual body part. And lastly, I separate all of the layers to get them ready for After Effects. Then I also have to name all the layers and export them. This is the really fun part. And then just more animating in After Effects. Once I'm done with the animation, I bring the graphics into Gamemaker and make a sequence, so I can actually fuse my cat animation with the in-game items. After we've done all of that, let me give you an update of what the demo looks like right now. I've not really filmed for Mizi NO because right now we're still trying to get the demo done, and every day I think it's finished and then we find something and then we need to fix it and then it's not finished. Okay, und go. The Mizis are too big, so optimizing that, scaling them down. And when we finally got all the loading issues and the music and everything that we still needed, when that was finally done, we sent the demo over to Patrick, who played it, and 2 days ago his feedback was the demo was too hard. Then we swapped out 2 levels and kicked the last level, which had like 80 pieces. And today he played it again and he was like, it's still too hard. I know he's right, but I'm still mad because I want to be done. And I want to focus on other stuff and like finally make progress again, because it feels like we're just doing the same thing every day. We're gonna make one final push, change the demo levels so the demo overall plays faster and a little easier. We uploaded the build yesterday evening with another round of changes. This morning, Patrick played it and he finally approved it. But his message was something like, ship it. But the last thing he said we should probably add is a custom mouse cursor. The last thing we need is a trailer, which I'm recording for right now. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. The demo release went very well, and we've gotten a bunch of wish lists since we released it at the beginning of 2024. And at this point, we mainly just need to sit down and make puzzles for the game. And I think the next devlog is gonna be the final one. I'm just gonna share like probably the polishing phase, and yeah.